Some animals are put into two fields. The ratio of the total number of animals in the first field to the total number of animals in the second field is 4:3. In the first field, there are 40 more sheep than horses, and in the second field, there are 124 more horses than sheep. And we're also told that 3/8 of all the animals are sheep. And the question is, how many horses are there in each field? Now, not going to lie, this is a very challenging question. And the only thing really that you can do when faced with a question like this is to just start drawing out and modeling the information that you're given. So we're going to start here that the ratio of the total number of animals in the first field to the total number of animals in the second field is 4:3. So this is going to be for the first field, this for the second, and I'm going to draw 4 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 parts. Okay, so there we go. 1, 2, 3. Right. Let me just mark those in. So that's that bit taken care of. Does it help us right now? Does it no, not really. We're not going to do anything with this at the moment. So we're just going to move on and draw something for the next bit, 2 bits actually of information. So here we've got a comparison. We're comparing the number of horses to sheep in field 1 and then the horses to sheep in field 2. So I'm going to draw comparison models for this. Okay, so here we've got this is going to be for field 1. We've got horses and we've got sheep, and we've got 40 more sheep than horses. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to draw a block for the horses, and I'm going to draw an identical, so far as I'm capable of my drawing, an identical block for the sheep. Now, so far in this model, I have the horses having the same number of horses as sheep. But we're told that there are 40 more sheep than horses. So I'm going to add a block here and give that a value of 40. Now, I've no idea how this block actually relates to this block in terms of value. The size of them is totally arbitrary. That's it. But what I do know is that these 2 blocks are the same. And that's something that you'll get used to in drawing bar models, is knowing that when you have one quantity more than the other, that leaves you with 2 identical quantities and a difference. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing for field 2. Okay, so field 2, again, we've got horses and we've got sheep. And what are we going to draw here? Well, in the second field, there are 124 more horses than sheep. Well, okay, so I'm going to draw, again, a bar. Actually, I suppose we could draw a bar. Let's say this is the equal part. All right, so this part is equal to this part. At this point in the model, the horses and the sheep are the same, but we have 124 more horses than sheep. So I'm going to draw a big block here, and that's 124. Okay, so far so good, I hope, and I hope you can see what this means. All right. We don't know what it means yet, but we can see what's being represented. So that's this bit of information taken care of and this bit of information taken care of. Okay. We're also told that 3/8 of all the animals are sheep. Okay. Well, so that's quite simple to draw. I'm going to do 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. All right. Now this represents all the animals. Okay. All the animals. And what do we know? I think I might just change color. Right. We've got, now this is 8. I suppose what I should have done is made that very clear. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 3 of these 8s, so 3/8 represent the sheep. And in that's all together. Okay. And if 3/8 are sheep, or the only other animals here are horses, that means that 5/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5/8 are horses. Now, one thing to note here is that this model has 8 parts. Okay, so altogether there are 8 parts, which is different from this bit here, where this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts. Okay, so 7 parts. So we have to note that and be a little careful, perhaps. Right. So where are we? Well, we need information about, going back to the question, how many horses are there in each field? Okay. Now, so we're wanting to separate out the horses and sheep. And it's only here in this part of the model that we have some values. So how are we going to make all of this information? How are we going to fit that in with this information here where we've got sheep and horses? Well, I think we need to rearrange this. And if we rearrange this information, I think you're going to see what's hidden here. Okay, and hopefully, and that's again where the bar model is going to make things much clearer. So I'm going to redraw these. I'm going to just rearrange them down here. So we've got horses again, and we've got sheep. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use some color to help me here, I think. Let's say, so this is, I'm shading this blue. Right, remember that these two blocks are identical. They represent the same value, the same number of animals. So I'm going to imagine I could just move these down here. I'm just going to redraw it. So in fact, I'll go down there and I'll make them approximately the same size as I drew them over there. Okay. And there we go. That's our two blue blocks that represent the same number of animals. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so that's this bit from field 1. What I'm also going to do is take this bit, these two bits from field 2, because they're the same, aren't they? All right, so let's add them on here. Okay. All right. And just to make it really clear, all right, so these two parts are these two parts. So far, so good. Now, and actually, you can probably see what's coming, can't you? What I'm going to do is I am going to put actually, let's deal with the horses first. I'm going to add this bit here. Okay, so let's add this bit here. That's the 124. And I'm also going to, that's 124 horses. I'm adding that to there. And I'm also going to add the 40 sheep. Okay, so let's say that that's about there. And we've got our 40 sheep. Now, we have something that looks really easy to calculate now. I think I might just change color. And what have we got that's easy to calculate? Well, we've got the difference now between the horses and sheep, which is 124 minus 40. So we can now calculate that there is a difference of 84. Now, this is really interesting because where else do we have a comparison of the number of sheep to the number of horses? Well, in this model here. Now, I could rearrange this to sort of fit into here somehow. I think it would be harder to see that way. So what I'm just going to do is, actually, why not, if I go back to the pink, this is the total number of horses. Agreed? Okay, well, the total number of horses is 5 parts of this model. Okay, so this is 5 parts. And the total number of sheep is 3 parts of this model. There we go, that's 3 parts. Which means the difference between 5 parts and 3 parts is 2 parts. Which is brilliant because we know the value of the difference. So we have 2 parts are equal to 84. And so if we do 84, divide that by 2, that gives us 42. So we now have a value that we can give to each of these parts. Okay, and I can write them in. So that's 42. I don't need to write them all in, but for some reason I'm doing so. So all of these parts have a value of 42. Okay, so from this, what can we work out? Well, we can work out the total number of sheep, which would be 3 times 42. Okay, that's 126. Okay, we can calculate the total number of horses. That's 5 times 42, which is 210. And we can also calculate the total number of animals, which is 42 times 8, which equals 336. So we now know the total number of animals. Okay. Does this help us? Well, yes, it does. Because it doesn't immediately help us knowing how many sheep and horses there are, because we just don't have enough information here just to do with sheep. So what we need to do is populate this model here. Okay, now remember I pointed out that this was an 8-part model. This is a 7-part model. So we can't take these and put them here. This is not worth 42, okay, because this total has been divided into 8. What we need to do, is this is 336. We now know the total number of animals in this model. We need to divide 336. We need to divide that by 8. And 336 divided by 8 is 48. Okay, so this is 48, and so on and so on. Okay. Now we've got some information that we can use to get some more numbers out of this part. All right. So what do we want to know? Well, we want to know how many animals there are in field 1. Let's start with field 1. Well, field 1, it's going to be 48. So for field 1 is 48 times 4. Okay, and that gives us 192. So let's go to this field 1 model. And we now have a total that we can put in, which is 192. 192 is the value of these 2 equal parts plus 40. Now, if we want to work out the value of these 2 equal parts, we need to eliminate the 40 from here. And so if we take 40 away from 192, we are going to be left with 152, and that's the value of these 2 parts. And if we then divide that by 2, so 152 divided by 2 gives us 76. That is the value that we can put in. I think I'm going to change color here. So I now know that each of these has a value of 76. Okay. And let's do the same thing for field 2. All right. So So field 2, what have we got? We've got 48 times 3. That is 144. Okay, so that is the value here. That's the total value, 144. And we can see that that's made up of these two equal parts plus 124. And if we can see that if we got rid of that 124, we would be left with the value of these two parts. So we're going to take 124 from here, and that's going to leave us with 20. And 20 divided by 2, because 20 is these two parts, that means that each of these has a value of 10. And now things are looking very promising, because if we go back to the question, we are asked how many horses there are in each field. Well, this is field 1. And how many horses are there in field 1? Well, there are 76 horses in field 1. So field 1, I don't know why that's doing that, is 76. And field 2, what have we got? Well, in field 2, we have 10 plus 124. So that is 134. Okay, and that's my final answer, and I do hope it helps.